Hello and welcome back to rFactor and another F1 2014 mod. Today I'm going to be driving the WCP 2014 mod. So this time I'm driving around the WCP A1 ring, the Red Bull ring, the Österreich ring, whatever you'll call it. It's the A1 ring to me, still. And this one was based off Grid 2, the Trek on Grid 2, so it's a lot more accurate than the one I used last time. That one's very old, the one I used last time. Very, very, very old. And so this one's a heck of a lot more accurate, and I'm going to be doing a 7-lap race. Now with WCP, they have not finished the mod. It is in 0.4, that's the version. There are only 10 cars, 4 teams. There is the Red Bull, the Mercedes, the Lotus, the Williams, and the McLaren. They're getting there. They will get them all done, obviously, but the state that this mod is in already is amazing. So that's why I've gone to it already. Some people suggested that I should drive it, and as you'll see, I think the driving is like the physics is just amazing on this mod. So we shall head to we shall start the race, a 7-lap race. Here we go. Just a side note, before I play the race, I recorded the race. And I recorded the audio of the race. And when I did the race, I recorded just the audio, because then rFactor has a replay mode where it saves the replays automatically. So I did the audio, and the livery for the Lotus was fine. And then when I went to the replay, the livery was broke. So it's just a black car with bits of stuff on it. So I apologise for that the car's got a dodgy livery, and I'm going to talk about the fact that the livery's great in the race, but it isn't. So as a side note, I've recorded this bit after doing the race and recording everything. So yeah, it's a bit broke. It's still a bit broke. I don't know why. I don't think it's just me. I think it might be an issue for everyone, but it's going to be happening when you've got version 0.4. So yeah, the car will be the wrong colour, and I'll talk about it being the right colour, but just ignore me. So here we go, a 7-lap race at the A1 ring. I cannot see the lights, the mirrors are in the way, so I'm going to have to react to the other drivers reacting to the lights, which is obviously not preferable. Although it doesn't really matter, because it's very hard to get a good start in these cars. Quite typical for high-power cars without launch control. But anyway, we get a gun of exit through turn 1, and we have a run on Maldonado. Now the AI difficulty is at 107%, the aggression is 80%, and the damage is 50%. This is primarily because WCP have taken a more realistic approach to damage this year, where if you have wheel-to-wheel contact, it's quite often your wheels will get ripped off, regardless of high speed. I've had quite low speed accidents and the car's been just written off, totally written off. So I've put it to 50% because I'm driving with the AI, who are quite unpredictable. As we get a big slide going through that corner, but it's so fast if you can... Oh, as we hit the Red Bull. It's very fast when there's congestion, just to fling it around the inside. I'm using Grosjean because there is an issue with the livery for me. When the AI use it, for some reason, Maldonado is fine. When they use Grosjean, as we get a good run through the final corner, but we are held up by Vettel, we can't get past him, and now we are boxed in. This is not a good situation because we have nowhere to go. So I'm going to lay off the throttle and actually lock up in the end, which isn't good. So we let Magnussen through, which is even worse. And Maldonado's behind us. Oh joy. So yeah, the livery doesn't work for the AI for some reason or other. I don't know why, and I don't know if it's for everyone, but definitely for me, the livery does not work as we are being pushed by Maldonado through the hairpin. I'm very careful into the hairpin because it's very easy to lock up the rears, which is quite strange because most other mods don't replicate locking up the rears, or at least don't make it very obvious. And with this mod, it's very easy to spin when you lock up the rears, just like Hamilton did in qualifying here, where he went into the hairpin, just locked up the rears and spun, and you can replicate that pretty well. And that left-hander left and then right-hander is a lot of fun, but it's nowhere near as much fun as these two left-handers, where you just chuck it in for both corners. Missed the apex there, but don't really run wide, which is the important thing. You don't want to run wide on either of those two corners. If you do, it's a lot of trouble for you. As we hit the sausage curb, we do not want to ride that sausage curb. That sausage curb will spin you if you so much as touch it. I was quite fortunate there that I was going straight and not going around the corner as such. As we still lock up. Although Hamilton opens the door for us. I was in the wrong gear to really take advantage of that. Although we may be able to dive up his inside for the right-hander here. Which we do. And can we hold it? We can. Although he's going to have a challenge up the inside, which is going to become the outside, so he shouldn't really be able to challenge back. Although a slow Rosberg, who we run into the back of, really hampered us, although he goes and blocks Hamilton. So it's no problem. And riding the curb there was a very bad idea because we got very loose at the rear. And we almost looped it, but we held it. We held it. Now, one really noticeable difference regarding physics about this mod compared to others. Well, there's two. The first one is the amount of front-end grip there is. There is a lot more front-end grip than in other mods. I've driven, I think, 4 or 5 mods here, different F1 2014 mods, and none of them have the grip like this mod does. It's especially noticeable in the final 2 corners, where it's really hard and you have to really slow down for them in other mods, but in this you just have to lift for the first right-hander. And the other main difference is how the power is applied. And in other mods the power comes really late. In the higher revs you just get loads of power. In the low revs you don't get much, but once you get to a certain point, as we are running wide, you just get all the power in the world, and it's quite difficult to deal with to begin with, because it's so easy to spin on exits of corners, because you just touch the power and you're around. You've hit max revs and it's just insane. In this mod that doesn't really happen as we run wide, which is a very dangerous thing, because it means we run wide again, and it means we use the grass, which is not good. Rosberg may be able to get a run on us going into turn 1. He's gone for the inside, but we chop him off and we keep the position. Really, we need to start catching up to Vettel, but strangely he's pulled away recently. So braking into the hairpin. That is the only corner where traction is a realistic issue. It's very easy to spin there in Gear 2, but in Gear 3 you just don't have the power to on exit, so you're not able to, you know, overtake. You just get overtaken if you're in Gear 3. We are slowly catching up to the Williams now, which is good news, although running a bit wide there, not helpful, not helpful. And again running a bit wide. Really need to avoid those curbs. You can use them, but it's very easy to lose the rear and half spin when you use them. As we run wide again, but this time we regain composure quite swiftly. And we are joining the gaggle for 5th, 4th, 3rd and 2nd, it seems. Braking early for turn 1 because they are just fighting and going very slow for it. The 2 Williams now slipstreaming each other, and they're trying to catch up to Vettel, although we have a good run now. We have an excellent run, although they start moving to the inside and we're going to have to let them through. And we've lost a lot of time from that, from being squeezed to the inside, which is quite strange, but never mind. The AI are quite aggressive, as you've probably noted, as the Williams crashes into Vettel. So which is why I turned it down to 80% as we run around the outside of Bottas there, which is strange. Now the AI can just abuse the curbs, being AI, they're alright with it, which is a shame that we can't abuse them as much. Are we going up the inside? We are. That is insane. That's not really an overtaking place, but hey ho, we made it work, and we are on to the final lap. can we get onto the podium? To get on the podium, we just need to pass Massa, and then there's Ricciardo and I presume Button? Yes, Button ahead. So, see what we can do. Barely using 7th gear at all this race. As we hit the curb, we run a bit wide, and we get the oversteer on the curb, which is not good. And now we've let Vettel through, and Bottas with a chance, but Vettel's inside here, easily done. Parking on the apex, not letting him back through. And it seems like the podium dream has collapsed, especially running wide there. Unless we can get an excellent run through here, which we actually do, but otherwise it's not happening. But yeah, this mod just feels excellent. The driving is just amazing. I think it's the most satisfying driving that I've had in a modern F1 car on rFactor. Typically I do not enjoy modern F1 cars on rFactor. I just can't get to grips with them. I just don't enjoy the driving. But this is the first one that I've actually enjoyed driving on rFactor with no assists or anything. Normally I just whack on all the assists and... Whoa. Massa just darts over to the side there, even though the race is finished, but being rFactor, everyone pelts it to the pit lane at full speed. So, it's like we're having an extra lap. So we shall drive it as if we're having an extra lap. So as you can see, Ricciardo is trying to challenge Button for the race lead that has already finished. And now we're starting to get the corners a bit right. But as I was saying, it's just so much fun. I mean, I spent a whole hour just doing laps around here. And the time just flew by. I was having that much fun just doing laps as they are diving into the pit lane. So we shall take advantage by ploughing into the back. So that was 50% damage, and I still took a wheel off, which is quite creditable. We'll enter the pits. May have been speeding there, but no worries. And we're smoking at the rear, but that is not a problem. And that is the race done. And my end feelings about this mod is, I mean, this is version 0.4. It has a long, long way to go, and it is already just amazing. It is brilliant. It's one of the best mods I've driven on rFactor so far. So it's just amazing. Here we have a quick look at the models of the cars, and I think the models are brilliant for WCP. First up is the Red Bull, and I mean I think most people did get the Red Bull quite well, but I think they have just got it perfect. I think they've got it really well, and also a single exhaust pipe, which has made me very happy that somebody cares. And can actually do them correctly. It doesn't have any upgrades, the Red Bull, nor do any of the cars other than the McLaren so far. Let's have a quick look at the Mercedes. I think they've got it pretty good. I still think some are a bit strange with the front wing, but I think, and that bit of black there as well just doesn't look right. But like the rear wing is so perfect. That's just how it is. I mean, with that monkey seat, well, it's not really a monkey seat anymore, but the single exhaust, I think they've just done it so well. And no Coanda exhaust like the remains like the other mods did, where they still left the Coanda bits in, but they just stuffed an exhaust at the back. Looking at the Lotus, I think this one, everyone's struggling with it. It doesn't look quite right. I don't know. From the front, yeah, it does. It looks perfect from the front. But on the side angle, it just looks a bit wrong. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but everyone's struggling with the Lotus and the single exhaust. But otherwise, it's pretty solid. Pretty solid. And the McLaren. Now, with the McLaren, it has upgrades. It has both nose types, which is a very big plus point, and it also has all the skins as well for up to Monaco at this point. But that's still quite impressive that they've got all that. And again, well, the McLaren for everyone has been pretty solid. Yep. And then the Williams, the last car that they've done. I still think they haven't got the nose there. It just doesn't look right. I mean, I'm not saying I could do better. I'm just saying, like, where the improvements can be. I still think the mod is amazing, and like all these models, they are great. But I still think that they're just lacking on the noses. And it's caused a real problem this year, the noses with modders. It seems to be the hardest thing at the moment to try and replicate them. But otherwise, this Williams is just lovely. They've done a great job, and again, no upgrades or anything. But I mean, that's great. I think they've done really well. Really well. And I can't wait to see the rest of the cars when they finish them, and when it gets to version 1. Now I'm going to show a lap without me talking, so you can hear the audio. I think the audio is pretty good on this mod. I think the cars sound pretty realistic. But anyway, so it'll be a lap around the A1 ring, this time in a McLaren. It was just I just did a lap. I didn't really do any practice or anything for it. I just did a quick lap. Quickly did one. So you'll hear the car now. But anyway, that was F1 WCP. That was a fun race. Could have done better, but no problem. And I'll probably keep driving this. There may be another comparison. There is one other mod that I have driven that I may do a video on. I don't know. We shall see. But for the time being, this is definitely the best F1 2014 mod I've driven. One of the best Formula 1 mods I've driven, to be honest, and it's not even finished. It doesn't even have all the cars, but regardless of that, I think it's brilliant, and I shall see you next time.